Okay, it's been like a week since the first time I recorded this. This is the third time. We are going to get through it. This is my sketchbook tour. So here are my two current sketchbooks. This is the one I just currently finished. Here's just a little smaller one that obviously I'm still working on. Ton of empty space in there. But honestly, hopefully this will be the next one that I finished. Okay, my big sketchbook. I always like to have a small and a big sketchbook. This is from Rifle Paper. I'm really obsessed with the texture and the look of it, and I've already gotten another sketchbook from Rifle Paper to replace this one because I'm so excited about it. But just, I mean, jumping in, there's a cute lining. I've covered up my contact info. Unfortunately, with this sketchbook, I did nothing on the first couple pages. I was very intimidated by them, so I just skipped them, which, worked out pretty well. So here's the actual first page with the date I started in 2024 and the date I finished here in December. I really do wish I had gotten through this a lot faster, but it's interesting to see my evolution along the way. So starting out in this sketchbook, it's just a lot of pencil doodles like this. And then a lot of the watercolor I came back and I added in. And then later on, I tried crayon and then Posca pen, then Arctic marker. I mean, I'm there's an evolution where I start to work on trying to introduce more color into these pages, which I quite adore, kind of watching this evolve. This little guy is kind of like a persona of mine, I guess, because my name is Drake. So there's gonna be a ton of dragons in this sketchbook. I'm obsessed with dragons, and I often draw during our D&D sessions that I have with my friends. So there's gonna be a lot of D&D characters as well. This is my sister-in-law's character. Just really cute. This is inspired by like the Peter Rabbit animals because they're so cute. So, I mean, a lot of this is just doodles. Here's some more Sona stuff. I was like, well, what if I made little creatures for my siblings as well? Like, what animals would they be? And then there were some sketches I didn't like, so I just painted over it all. And I came back in and did some Posca pen drawings on top, just really trying to pull in color, make this interesting. I don't even know what's going on here. Over here, just doodles. Like, what is this? Why has she got butterfly wings? Who knows? Drawing creatures, an owlbear. And then I use my sketchbook a lot to explore ideas. So here I think I might have been testing the Poscas for the first time. But I was like, what if I made statues or planters? Just all over the place. Oh look, even more D&D. Let me move that. We don't need that. Here I was designing, I really want to hand stitch a Ren Fair outfit. I've started on this Jester outfit, but it's nowhere near where it should be. But a couple ideas and design. This was more of a Baroque outfit. If I made a dragon mask and had the I forget what these are called, but you know what I'm trying for, like the princess hats that have cones. But I use those as like dragon horns on the mask. I thought that could be really cool. I actually don't like this drawing at all. I was fighting with the Posca pins a lot, and I think her face is very flat and boring. So we're gonna move past that. Just some doodling with markers. Oh, over here, this is pretty fun. The first time I did my own nail art, I planned it all out here. Like I had a beetle and a fish. Let me insert an image of those nails because that was the first time I did gel nails with a rubber gel base all on my own. I'm really proud of it. My nails are healing right now because I let somebody else do my nails at just one of those small places in an outlet, and I don't think you can tell in the video, absolutely scratched up my nails like crazy. They're they've been cracking and breaking and they just need some time to heal. More Posca pin doodles. And again, like if you can see the white here, I'm covering up doodles I didn't like. And then I came in with this little dragon with a vase or these animals that have houses in them. This one's actually cool because I was thinking about like making a dragon bust, like a taxidermy bust that goes on the wall. I was like, what's the easiest way to do that? I started researching taxidermy online and found that you can buy the, I think it's plaster bases. So they're very light. Pretty sure it's plaster. And I was looking at one for a Steinbock, which is a type of antelope. And if you see the purple lines, I was like, what? Okay, so what if I bought this antelope base and then I carved it and I made it work for a dragon because their necks are very long. So I actually think it would be a great base for a dragon, but probably better and cheaper if I, worked without a base. Some more sketches that really transferred really badly. I have some charcoal that I love drawing with, but these are D&D sketches over here. Again, my sister-in-law's character. This is a scene that like happened in D&D, and then just creatures, the playground, dragon on the playground. Oh, this is cute. So I was actually at a zoo sketching the bear in real life. Her name's Flower, and she likes to like groom herself a lot. So she was licking her arm and sticking her tongue out. It was really cute. And then I, with crayon, did flowers to fill up the space. On this side here, I think I did all this during D&D. This is my brother-in-law's D&D character talking to a kid. And I wanted to fill in the space. So when it came in with watercolor to fill in the space, it left these cool flower marks because it had some of the wax from the crayon had transferred onto the other side. I kind of love how that ended up looking. I would love to do that on purpose another time. These are some sketches I did for my husband's YouTube channel. If you can recognize them, great. Shout out in the comments. I made a little short for him. Some more sketches, a layout that I did for a painting, figure drawing practice, and then some more for my husband's YouTube channel. Trust me, this is for his YouTube channel. It makes sense if you know his channel. And then sketches, like I just try to fill in space as much as possible. Like Sonic and Shadow. Oh, okay. I love this page. I love the tigers. I love the baby. But you can see here that I painted over pin doodles that I didn't like that much. But it was a water soluble pin, so it just bled through. I put so many layers trying to cover those pin doodles behind, just bled through. But I like the tigers. These are really fun. Some of them were done with Posca marker. I think these two. And then these were done with Arctic's markers. I'm pretty sure. I like the Arctic's brush tips a lot better. The Posca's got great color payout. But with the shade range, oh my gosh, with the shade range and for the price, I'm all Arctic's markers. I'm obsessed with my markers. And over here was some more Ren Fair ideas, costume design. And then there's straight up just D&D notes in here. Oh, that's so funny. The Rascal, he's our sidekick. And then I think I was drawing the animals from Spy Kids 2. The horsefly, tiger shark, the flying pig, catfish. I don't remember what the other animals were. We fought a monster that reminded me of the gorilla spider monkey from Spy Kids. So I started doodling other Spy Kid creatures. Ugh, okay, I hate this page because when I bought Timu oil paints, I also bought some oil pastels to try and they sucked. And they transfer and I didn't know how to use them. But this was kind of a cool page because I was testing out composition. I just went through my phone and looked at photos that I had taken on different trips, just interesting landscape photos I had taken to practice composition with. And then they just ruined it with the oil pastels. But it was a great exploration. These two are actually from a dream I had where like this was me, but my face was a swirling, like it was constantly moving, weird design. I was in a dress. I was like an alien, but also I went sailing or something. It was a very vivid image, so I wanted to draw it. And some more composition practice. I do like really want to make this into a painting because it's such a cool idea. I don't know if I have the skills for that right now because there's so much going on here. I want the dragon to be walking through like she's just like casually, right? She's walking her dragon through a market. I want the market to be busy. There's people, but there's also this play of shadow and light going on. I think you can tell here. So like where the overhang is, there's shadow. The dragon's looking at a baby that's in the shade, but they're kind of walking in the light. I want it maximalist and busy and interesting. Here I tried another composition for it that I just wasn't as into. But I want it so dynamic. Maybe I could try to paint it in gouache or something like less stressful than oil. But I don't know. I want it to lean a little more realistic than cartoony. So, I'm gonna have to do a lot more tests before I would put this on a canvas. More D&D stuff. We were fighting mind killers and voiceless talkers, and then I was playing with composition for another painting I want to do of this dragon wrapped around a sign. Like I have an actual photo reference for this. And I'm kind of obsessed with it. I want the dragon to look super creepy. And more D&D stuff over here. My character's the rogue. We have a barbarian. We have a fairy. Here's the human, I think, cleric, and my rogue character torturing a poor little mind killer that we put in a jar. We're just tapping on the jar, and she's holding fire. It's okay. They're evil. I promise. They're so evil. They deserve it. And more Posca pins. So the Posca pins were just, they weren't giving me joy. They were giving me frustration. Like over here. Frustration. And more D&D. Bumple's a D&D character. This is from a dream, another character, Hyde. That's a monster we fought that managed to hit Hyde in a storage room. I'm like, how is this giant monster hiding? And then here's my rogue character and then the barbarian character. It's so much fun. More D&D. Yep. It's an actual like scene that happened where he was mind communing with the dragon, my brother-in-law's character, and here are crayon doodles of all the characters, which I thought was so fun. This is the evil vampire that we were fighting, and then here's our party of 5. We actually we have human, 2 humans, half elf, barbarian or fairy, and of course Rascal, our mascot that we love. But this is my character. And the evil vampire, we gave her the mind killer in a jar. She also tortured it, shook the jar. Very funny. Petey. Or Nathaniel. And then just some doodles. I wanted to challenge myself to draw more with pen. So I really like this page. It was a lot of fun, and I like how busy it looks. Here's my little ladybug character and butterfly. Yeah, you can look at this page for a long time because there's so much going on. More D&D, another vampire breaking into the church, unicorn, fairy, vampire hiding up in the rafters, and then I did this with Posca pins. I really like drawing like this in this kind of color combination of the pink, blue, yellow. I like how this page is starting to have more color. More color, less just pencil doodles. Oh, look, more color. I'm not obsessed with how she looks, but I am obsessed with these guys, and it was a lot of fun drawing them in different poses. So, ignore her. These guys and the cows. I like that imagery a lot. That'd be a fun little t-shirt, just different alien guys in different poses. Look at this one. He's winking. Over here, I think I was drawing somebody who was painting, and then I just filled the page up. Oh, Posca. I am just okay with this page. I started with some dragons and Posca pen, and then I added other dragons and Arctic markers, but I didn't keep them as tight as I should have. I would have preferred if this page was all dragons in different poses, like really tight to each other, because I drew a couple more. I was trying, they just weren't close enough. And then I had awkward space left over, so I filled it up with dragon treasure, I guess, and dragon eggs. This would have been cooler. I could redo this with just more dragons instead in every single corner. Here's a plan for a painting I made where I tested a couple different color layouts using, the rule of thirds to test how that was laid out. And then I tested this drawing before I put it in later on. A lot of practice, and I like to see that. Character design. Okay, I hate these pages. Playing with crayons. She just looks off. These are just some weird random doodles. That's what happens when I start drawing with no plan, I guess. I like that cat a little bit though. This is like a patchwork monster. It feels like something I would put on DeviantArt when I was 13. But this page, I love crayon. I had so much fun. I think I did this at D&D too. But just, I mean, look, it's the same pink, blue, yellow for highlights, the pink and blue here. I just think it's such a cute effect. Look, I gave them blushy cheeks. I started with the ducklings, and then I don't know why I wanted to draw the lanternfish, but look, that's her boyfriend. They're in love. We filled it out with clouds and sunshine. Crayons are so much fun. I recommend crayons if you're in some kind of art slump. Just have fun. Ah, okay, finally. I have my Arctic markers, and I love, love, love this spread. I guess they're two different spreads. I mean, I just went on Pinterest and I was like, what do I want to draw with these Arctic markers? And I found these dogs on Pinterest. So I did the bottom half of this page first. A whole week later, I was like, wait, I want it to be a full page. I want a cohesive theme. These are two fun ladies. We need a trio. We need a third. We need it to be sitcom girlies that go out, lassies who lunch. They only know decadence. They don't pay taxes. They don't contribute to society. They don't need to. They're fancy lassies. They have no expectations on them besides being adorable. So this was the third I decided to add because I liked the idea of the two short friends and then the one taller one, but all very glamorous. And over here was just a fun color combo inspired by this photo I saw on Pinterest of an alligator with a little butterfly on his head. I was like, wait, I love the green and orange. Like, I love how that looks. This is so fun. We could just stay on this page for the rest of the video because it's my favorite. But we have to move on to uglier pages. So here, I think I made this into a little Instagram reel. I just did a really quick sketch of some tomatoes in my garden in watercolor. And then I was like, wait, what if I drew the same tomatoes but in Posca pen? And I don't like Posca pen. I don't like the results I was getting there. But it's interesting to see the two compositions and the different layouts, build in the space with random stuff. And then I hate this page. It got very sunburnt. I don't know if that shows up well on camera. It's very brown. Like it looks like I just poured coffee on it. But I was going to fill it out with imaginary creatures drawn in rainbow pen. And I just never finished it because I got mad at how the page had gotten sunburned. I didn't know that could happen. Oh, fun. Okay, more Posca pens. I cannot claim this is not my original idea. I drew some cool tattoos I saw on Pinterest. I really liked the shadow. Really liked it. These are my original idea. Just blue cows and a baby cow. I love the pink and blue. That would be cool on a shirt or on a mug or something. That's all I think about lately is like, what can I put on the pottery I'm making? Okay, here, inspired by Sophie McCandles, I'll link her channel in the description. She pre-blominates pages. So I got my watercolors out. I'm like, okay, here we go. We're pre-blominating. Uh, and then I just did doodles on top. And I love how fun and freeing this is. And then over here, I was planning a dragon makeup look that I never ended up doing. It was from like for a Renaissance fair drag show that it was just too late. We did not go to. But I have the horns and I do want to do this makeup look at some point and draw all the scales on. Look, it would look so cool. It would look so cool. I hate this page, but it's good practice. I don't like drawing vehicles. So if anything, I should probably do it more. A tuk-tuk, a bus, whatever. But this was a Posca pen doodle that I came back in with other mediums, filled it out in watercolor. And it's kind of fun. You know, it got a little labinated with the watercolor. Same thing over here. I was just sketching, looking at people in the park. And then I went on Pinterest and did some doodles with what I found on there. Or maybe this was Reddit. I don't know, like r/draw me or whatever on Reddit. Yeah, I think I drew some person who was requesting to be drawn, but I never like posted that photo. So they'll just never know that they were drawn unless they watch this video or that their cat was drawn. There was a person behind the cat, but the cat was the cutest part, so I just drew that. Designed a custom stool I made for my little sister. It ended up really cool. I should post a photo. But not as many dragons, so I was originally thinking. And then this was like Posca pen. Oh, you can see my frustration. It's like it ended up tearing up the paper a little bit too. Whatever. I was trying to draw in a children's book style. Some more designing here, like thinking of little dragons that I could make into sculptures, how I would pose them to be very dynamic. Or this one's like a tray that can hold things, like a jewelry tray, so the tail would stick up to hold a ring. And then a blobinated page. I like what I ended up drawing on here because you can kind of see the bunny, but the wolf doesn't see the bunny. There's a little exclamation point. Yeah, very inspired by Sophie McCandles and her style. Like, this is how she draws bushes, even. Figure drawing studies, these are all just 2 to 3 minutes. Good practice. I was gonna paint over this page and draw something better in Arctic's marker, but I got too lazy. Oh, I like this page. I drew a chicken and waffles I had, which looks kind of smudged and not very appetizing right now, but I promise it was good. And then I got colored pencils, so now I have colored pencils to play with. I was drawing my cats and my dog, but they don't stay still long enough to have a good drawing, so I got really frustrated. So I just doodled other stuff. Like I really like this griffin because it's got the osprey head. Oh, I think that looks so cool. I should do more interesting griffin combos. And another cafe drawing. Here's a layout. I really recommend doing this before you paint any painting because you can take a picture that you think is great, but you don't, composition matters so much when making an interesting painting. So just doing this, I mean, it takes 5 minutes, it takes 3 minutes. So worth it. But these, I love you Arctic's markers. Like, thank you so much. Look how sweet these are. Moms and babies. With the pigeon with her ugly baby. And the mama possum whose baby's on her head. Like, I'm really obsessed. I was practicing working in, how do I explain, like, making my colors more interesting. So, like, obviously, the actual animals don't have this much pink and blue, but by using those pink and blue shades for the shadows, it ends up really dynamic and interesting. And just cutesy. Just cutesy, too. I drew a friend cutting hair live. That was really cool. She was cutting hair at a little clothes swap kind of thing we did. And that's actually where I sold all my pottery pieces at, if you watched my pottery video. So I sold my, or traded my pottery pieces, and she was cutting hair at the same little thing. They had different activities, I guess you could do there. There was also people selling homemade matcha that was so good. And then more composition layouts, colored pencil doodles. These doodles are actually all redrawn versions. I went back in my old college sketchbooks, maybe high school sketchbooks. I think high school sketchbooks. And I redrew the stuff I had in there. And I like the colors. And then over here, I was planning like more clay things I could make. I actually did make a lot of ring holders. I really want to make a whole set of matching dragon plates to use at home. And then I guess this was booth design, because that's another goal I have for next year, is to just do, I don't know, one market. Make enough pottery and everything to have and try out a market just once. Some rabbits. This was a fun exercise because I used the Arctic markers and I did the marker first and then came in with the outlines. So it was a good practice for getting general shape. I'm not sure. I guess that's a way to say it. And then more figure drawing. A lot of when I draw from life, I no longer do the circles, the blocks underneath, because I'm not practicing layout. I'm practicing getting what I see down on the page as accurately and quickly as possible. Like doing blocks, circles, like structuring your drawing from the bottom up, it's really good to learn so that you can draw not from life, you know? You can put, you know how the blocks work, so you can put them together in different shapes. But here, what I'm practicing is a little bit anatomy, but it's mostly perspective from life. And that's what'll get you more speed in your drawings. Oh, and then this is so cute. Okay, so I drew geese at the park. This is a little sketchbook meetup. They're so cute. I like the colors I used here. This is Arctic marker, and then I really like this. I did the markers first, and then I came back in with colored pencils, and I love the look of it. Like this could be in a children's picture book. You know what I mean? Like I want to practice more live sketches like this. Here's another blobinated page with some neon watercolors that I'm really obsessed with. And then I was like, okay, everything I'm going to draw is going to be a unicorn. So a unicorn, obviously, classic, horse, unicorn, cat. This, of course, is a unicorn. Narwhals are definitely unicorns. And then some unicorn fish to also be swimming in the unicorn water. This was just fun. This was silly. Did these on the plane, and I'm so proud of this page because I like how it turned out, obviously, but also because I had taken all of these photos myself at a museum I visited 2 years ago. So I'm finally using those reference images from 2 years ago. It made me feel so clever and crafty to be on a plane with no Wi-Fi and be like, but wait, let me look through the images I have on my phone. And I like them. I like the colors I chose. I like that it was good line work. I mean, if you look at the actual perspective, if you saw the reference photo for this, I messed up a lot of from the perspective of how kind of this angle should look. The legs should be larger down here, whatever. I don't think you can tell. I don't think you can tell without looking at the reference photo. Oh, no, wait, no, maybe you can tell because this femur looks, just don't look at it too long and you can't tell how messed up it is. And then I challenged myself to draw more pin drawings. This was also done in the airport and on the airplane. I was just looked up Pinterest reference. I was like, look, no base pencil sketch, just go right in with pen. These drawings are going to be ugly, but it's going to be good practice for me to do ugly drawings. But then none of them ended up ugly. They all ended up really nice, which was, I'm so proud of this spread. I like it a lot. I like the Dalmatian with her phone. I like the fruits and the themes, and then I just love filling up space with stars. I love stars. Here's some more plain sketches. I was drawing this in my sketchbook when the flight attendant asked me to draw in her sketchbook, which was such a cute experience. And then she gave me a good human sticker after I drew in her sketchbook for her daughter. Here's a landscape that I wanted to do similarly to the earlier Arctic marker and colored pencil combo, but I got too lazy because in this beautiful mountain scene, there's so many rocks with lichen. There's just so many different shades of gray and brown and green and so much detail. I gave up. I'm not finishing this. Whatever. Okay, here I was playing with an idea I had for a children's picture book about three princesses. So I started drawing them here, and I was like, no, these look too old. I want the princesses to all be kids, so I drew them again. And then I was like, wait, actually, I suck at drawing kids. So I drew some kids from life, and it turned out horrifying. Don't look too closely at this face. I'm not happy with these. I need to practice way more with drawing kids and way more to have a cohesive children's book style, because I kind of like I want it to be even simpler than this. I think that would be like simple but really dynamic. Oh, and I was even thinking about like what each princess should have a color, like yellow, blue, pink, or should I go like purple, blue, pink? I don't know. Comment if you have ideas for three colors that would work really well for three different princesses who are all sisters. Airport drawings. Oh my gosh. I like how it started with D&D drawings and now at the end it's all airport and airplane drawings. So these are some photos I took on my trip from Columbus to Pittsburgh. This, you can watch my short. These are all from actual things that I saw. Like I had a pasta with a giant meatball. This badass cow was just in the lobby at my hotel. And then the airport had, the Pittsburgh airport has a little robot repair shop. So cute. So I drew the robot. And then I was like, what if my cats were robots? And one of my cats has a little stub tail. So I drew her little stub tail with broken wires sticking out of it. And then of course, Wallace. I actually got to pet him. It was quite nice. Live figure drawing, but this time I did it in a bunch of different colored pencil colors. I really like this because I'm getting my practice in, but it looks more interesting than if this was in pencil. And if I would love to do something like this in the new sketchbook, but overlap the drawings even more. I think that would look cool because you could still pick each figure out really well by looking at the color. Oh, and then this is my last page. I drew a fairy with a corgi as her mount. Then I filled it out with flowers. She's sticking her tongue out at you, and the corgi is also sticking his tongue out. And then over here, I started with this other corgi, but I was like, no, I want to draw ugly or weird looking dogs. And look, no dog can ever be ugly, but I really like the Boston Terriers with their sloped heads. I think they look so silly. Of course, Chinese cresteds are silly. I think pugs are ugly as hell. Their faces are so messed up. I feel so bad for them. And then this was just a big fluffy droopy dog. Little dog themed. And that's all for my sketchbook. Look how beat up and stained she is. Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of this. This is the most colorful, most filled out sketchbook I think I've ever had. And I have all of my sketchbooks since like grade school. Yeah, since maybe 7th grade. So I'm really happy with this. I'm already on to the next sketchbook. Here, if you wait a second, I'll grab it to show you. Okay, already on to this sketchbook is my next one. I've done a couple pages in here that I'm not going to show you, but I'll show you. I kind of pre-prepped some pages, painted some with gouache, pre-prepped for my trip soon. That way I have some different surfaces to paint on, which I'm really excited. Hopefully, I think my goal is to finish these big sketchbooks in a year or less. It'd be really cool if I have a year of my life in this. But I also have a smaller sketchbook, and this one I keep as like my purse sketchbook, like this. I think I'll be taking both of them with me on my trip. Yeah, this one I can fill up slower because it's this one I fill up more purposefully, if that makes any sense. This one I just happen to have with me because I try to always have a sketchbook on me, versus this one I I want to make more time to genuinely sit down, fill it out, work on it. That's the goal for, I mean, it's kind of perfect timing. We're about to start the new year, but I did start this in December. Whatever. It's almost like a fresh New Year sketchbook. It's close enough. Thanks for sitting through and watching this, and please comment on what drawings you liked the best. If you have any sketchbook finishing advice, I would really appreciate that. Right now, I'm just trying to incorporate drawing more into my daily routine or in the downtime I might have throughout the day, especially throughout the work week. So that's why there's a lot of airport and airplane doodles since I travel so much for work. Awesome.